Welcome, students. Today's topic is this poem by John Milton. We are going to have a just read through of this poem. We'll read through this poem, trying to understand what the words and the terms and what is he trying to convey in this poem. So this is actually titled "On His Having Arrived at the Age of 23." So a little background is needed on this title. So this is when he turned 23 and he thought that there was nothing uh, important or significant that he had done in his life, uh, even though he's at 23. So he was in university, he was in college, but he sees everybody else, accomplishing a lot. So he's one of this genius mind who knows that he's a genius. He has that talent within himself, but uh, he looks around and sees that nobody sees that. Nobody actually is recognizing the inner talent that he has. So he goes on to write the you know, uh, most popular or famous poem called Paradise Lost, and then Paradise Regained. He is second only to Shakespeare, so he's a very important person in English literature. And this poem uh, shows uh, as a shows us a little bit of a peek into his life when he was 23, when he had not yet accomplished anything that would uh, recognize him uh, as a great writer, as a great poet, second only to Shakespeare. So Milton was a religious person, as most people were back in those days, and this poem reflects his religious beliefs and his faith towards God, and how his reformed or Puritan understanding of the faith uh, is reflected in this poem. So let us read through the poem to understand these aspects of John Milton when he writes about himself, his life, in this poem. So, how soon have time, the subtle thief of youth, stolen on his wing my 3 and 20th year. So, what is he saying here? He's saying this time is like a subtle thief. He's calling time a thief of youth. So, he sees time actually stealing his youth. Slowly, he sees that, his youth is actually getting stolen. So, time is, going very fast. And his youth is also being stolen in that process. Stolen on his wing by 3 and 20th year. So he personifies time here and says that it is stealing his youth on his wing. So he is saying that time is like an angelic creature with winged creature, or you could say that it was like a bird. You see that kind of swiftness that birds have. They just fly away with something. So he says that this is also time is also like a subtle thief that just stole away on his wing my 3 and 20th year. So 23 years have been stolen. My hasting days fly on with full career. So hasting is like the hasty days. The days are just flying on. It's going very fast with full career. Here, career doesn't mean what it means in the present time. Okay, it's talking about full career as in full speed. So his hasting days fly on with full speed. But my late spring, no bud or blossom showeth. So spring is the time of hope, and everything starts becoming after the long winter. Imagine that you are in England, and after the snow and everything actually subsides, slowly, you know, uh, everything starts springing up in spring. Okay, Spring is the time when greenery just comes back slowly. So my late spring, no bud or blossom showed. So he's talking about his time, this 23 year, third year, as late spring, as a season that has come. But no bud or blossom showed. Means there is no bud. There are in spring. What happens is like all the buds and the grass and everything starts growing back. The greenery starts coming out, right? So he says that no bud, there are no buds, no blossoms are showing up in my spring. Okay, though I have come this far to 23 years, nothing has happened. Perhaps my semblance might deceive the truth that I, to manhood, am arrived so near. So he's talking about his appearance now. So this is something which requires background. He was one of those guys, this very thin, sort of feminine looking guys. He was one of those. He was a very intellectual person. He was very intelligent, but he did not look like a buff, sort of, muscular guy. He was a very feminine. He had feminine features, and he was thin and, uh, you know. Then he says that perhaps my semblance might deceive the truth. So he still looked like a boy, basically. Though he was 23, he did not look like 23. There are some people like that, right? So he might have looked like 17 or something. And people did not take him seriously because of that. Sometimes it happens that because uh, because some you know because some people look very young, they are treated like children, basically, right? So this is what was happening. Like, people were not taking him seriously. They were maybe joking about his appearance and calling him a boy or something. Who knows what happened, what he faced during college years. So this is what was happening. Perhaps my semblance might deceive the truth that I to manhood have arrived so near. So he's saying that I have arrived to manhood, but maybe my appearance is deceiving people. People don't realize how talented I am, how I could contribute to things. I'm not just a boy. That and inward ripeness of much less appear. So he's talking about inward ripeness. So what is ripeness here? When fruit becomes ripe, sometimes you see mangoes which are ripe. They are fully yellow in color, right? So, but sometimes you see that inward ripeness doesn't show up. Um, the the fruit is completely ripe inside, but it still looks green from the outside. So he's saying that maybe because that um, inner talent is not shown to anyone. Maybe people see my outer appearance and are getting deceived, not getting the whole picture of how intelligent or talented I am when it comes to poetry and language. And and inward ripeness of much less appear. So it barely is appearing basically in front of people. Nobody gets a chance to look at how talented he is, and they just dismiss him as, oh, this guy, okay, this boy, like, he has much to learn more or something like that. He So basically sometimes people go by looks. So they might have thought that, okay, he's just a boy, he needs to mature more or something like that. So that some more timely happy spirits endure. So he's saying that there are some more people around him, okay, that are happy spirits, timely happy spirits. Means things are happening to them according to the time. And he's talking about his peers. He's talking about his fellow students, friends, and, people around him who are getting that recognition, who are actually accomplishing things in their life. And he doesn't see that happening in his own life. So he's saying that timely happy spirits, things are happening according to time. That is what this timely refers to. Endureth. Okay. So things are actually happening according to what uh, what they uh, what they expected in life, basically. yet be it less or more. So look at this here. He deals with the problem in these lines. He complains all of these, you know, lines here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the octave, it's called an octave in a sonnet. This poem is called a sonnet because it is has 14 lines. So it is divided into two parts. You have to understand that, and you see that it has three stanzas. Okay, it can be divided into two parts. One is an octave where he talks about the problem, and then the sestet, the 6 lines, which tells you about the solution or the resolution of that problem that he was talking about, right? So let us look at the how he resolves it through his religious beliefs, through his faith. So yet be it less or more or soon or slow, it shall be still in the strictest measure, even to that same Lord, however mean or high. Okay? Yet be it less or more. I don't know when success will happen to me. Maybe I will be a little successful. Okay, maybe it will be less. Maybe it will be more. Maybe it will come soon to me, or it will come very slow. Okay, maybe later. It shall be in strictest measure. So it will exactly happen in the strictest measure, even to that same lot, however mean or high, however low or high. Okay, it will only happen according to a particular plan, is what he's saying. Towards which time leads me. So time will determine. So here the concept of time is very different than what we are not just talking about. It's 10 o'clock now or that kind of a time. No, uh, we are talking about time in the sense that time in your life, good times, bad times, and many people have this like this. I'm going through a bad time or I'm going to a good time. There is this belief attached to it, right? So he's talking about that. Towards which time leads me. So whatever time leads me, that is why it is capitalized. Wherever you see time here, even when he personifies it here, it's capitalized. See? So towards which time leads me, and the will of heaven. So wherever the will of heaven and time leads him, that is where time and will and heaven, to that strictest measure, it will happen. So his solution is not that, oh, okay, I need to pray more, I need to struggle more, I need to work hard more, or something like that. He's not saying that. He's not saying that, I need to encourage myself more. I don't have to be negative like that. No, nothing good has happened so far. But he's actually taking courage in this one sort of belief that many people have. Even in India, we have this belief that things happen according to the course that they were determined from the beginning. Okay, so everything is predetermined. Everything that has to happen in your life is predetermined. So this is the belief that he's going with, and he says that it will only happen. Okay, whether it's less or more, whether it will come soon or slow, whether it is low or high, it will only happen. Okay, and, towards which time leads me, wherever time leads me, that is what will happen to me, and the will of heaven. So here it's talking about will of God here. Heaven is a reference to God. So whatever God has fixed for me, whatever God has actually uh, determined for me, that is what will happen, not what I think. That is what he takes comfort in. That is his faith. So it is very different from saying that, oh, if I pray more, things will happen in a certain way, or I need to try hard more, and this will happen. No, no. He is one of the people who are called Puritans. Puritans are people who strongly believe in predestination, okay, or double predestination. Uh, I don't want to go deep into theology, but it just means that everything that happens is determined by God, or His will. Nothing happens just like that, okay? It is completely planned by God. So the will of heaven, only if it is the will of heaven that things will happen in my life. So he's taking comfort in something which is uncertain. So he doesn't want to take any sort of, false sort of comfort and all. He just says, okay, it fits with God's will, it will happen in my life. Otherwise, maybe, who knows? It might not happen also. All is if I have grace to use it. Only if I have grace to use it. So only if God gives that grace, okay, that unmerited favor, if only God actually says, okay, you become successful in this, or you actually shine here. He just gives that blessing, that grace, that unmerited thing. So it doesn't at all depend upon his work. Okay, no matter how much he works and all, he's completely believes in unmerited favor of this grace he's talking about. Okay, if I have grace, only if I have grace to use it. So okay, only if I have grace to use it. So as ever in my great taskmaster's eye. Okay, so he's saying that uh, only if uh, if I have grace to use it, so as ever in my great taskmaster's eye. Here, the taskmaster is the same reference to what here the heaven refers to. Okay, here heaven refers to God, and here taskmaster also refers to God. So under his eye, so basically, he's taking comfort in the fact that, okay, I am under the eyes of God. Okay, he is actually the taskmaster. So whatever troubles or whatever challenges or whatever blessings that come in your life, it is by the taskmaster. So have you seen in one of those places where people are working, any sort of like set laborers under the taskmaster? The taskmaster gives, like, you are supposed to finish so and so by the end of the day, so and so work by the end of the day. And it is a very, sometimes you have harsh taskmasters who actually give you loads and loads of work and overwork you or something like that. Okay, that is the great task. When he talks about the great taskmaster, he's talking about God. He's presenting God as a taskmaster who gives like a task, or difficulties, or tests that you are supposed to pass in life. So only if he gives grace, you can actually make it through the day, okay, or through your life until you end it. And only if he actually gives grace to use it, you can actually become successful. So in his Puritan faith, he takes comfort in this fact that this great taskmaster that he is talking about, under his eye, under his will, according to time, only if it happens accordingly that way, then I will be successful in life. So he doesn't go the easy way. Most of us are like that. When we pray, when we hope for things and for good things and all, we just think that, oh, I need to work hard more. I need to pray harder or try to change things and all. But his belief is in strict, okay, grace and the time predetermination, okay, of God. Only if he allows it, that will happen in my life. So he just resolves it with a theological answer. It's it has to do with his particular religious beliefs. of how he resolves this problem that he presented here. Okay, it is a real problem actually that I have all of this talent, but nobody is recognizing me. Everybody thinks I'm a young fella with no, nothing to offer. People are not taking me seriously. All of that. Okay, but he actually, in this sestet, resolves that with a theological answer, saying that it will only happen if there is grace to use, if it's the will of God, where time leads me. Okay, under the great taskmaster's eye. All of these are answers that he actually gives to himself. This is like a self, uh, uh, self sort of counseling that he gives to himself. He comforts himself with these kind of answers, which come from his religious beliefs.